Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Steve Breach coming to you here today, picking up the discussion that was talked about on Bring It to the Table with Rosenberg, JBL, and Paul Heyman. They discussed at the very end of the show Hulk Hogan making his return to WWE. One of the main reasons that I really liked the show is that they were not afraid to use language like Paul Heyman was saying, bitching throughout the whole show, talking about fans complaining about things that happen in WWE and basically saying if they're not going to boycott, if they're not going to not buy the tickets, they're not going to not, watch the show on TV, whether if they're not going to be subscribed to the network, they can complain all they want to because they're going to keep watching. And until they're not watching, you don't have to change anything that they want you to change. Just keep doing what you want to do because you got them. Hook, line, sinker. But honestly, in my opinion, I think that Hulk Hogan will be a part of the WWE sooner than later. I think that it's been a good long while since the Hulk Hogan thing went down, where Hulk Hogan was forced to resign from WWE to put Vince McMahon and the company in good graces because of the fact that Hulk made a huge, I don't even want to call it a mistake, because honestly, if anybody out there has heard the tape or seen it, I think everybody in the world knows how big of a Hulk Hogan fan I am. So I mean, the excerpt of the tape that was uploaded online was probably tweeted to me at least 100 times the day that it came out, and I had people tweeting me like crazy, basically saying, Hulk Hogan is your favorite wrestler. What do you feel about the situation? How do you feel about Hulk Hogan being out of WWE? I can honestly tell you that because of what Hulk said and because of who I am, I really honestly don't think it's up to me for when everything is blown over for Hulk Hogan. I think that honestly, definitely with all forms of celebrity, I think that people are built up in a world of fame because of the fact that people that are fans of these people and people that are, just junkies for celebrity news love to break these people down. Whether if it's somebody, I don't want to group Hulk Hogan with somebody like Britney Spears or, what's that little fucker's name? I forgot that little dude's name. The little singer, Justin Bieber, is another guy that, basically everything that he does, whether it's him speeding around in his car in his neighborhood, is celebrity news. Stuff that just nobody fucking should care about. It just doesn't make any sense. Almost like when a football player or a basketball player is going through a normal, everyday divorce, just like everybody else in the whole world, it has to be mainstream news because people think that it might have something to do with the way he plays the game and just brings more focus to what's going on in his life. And who gives a fuck? It's almost like when John Cena was going through his divorce, and every day in the dirt sheets you're reading this, that, and the other about John Cena's divorce. I don't give a fuck. Just as long as Cena goes out there and wrestles on Monday and on a pay-per-view, that's all that matters to me. When it comes to Hulk Hogan, I'm enough of a fan to say that I want him to return to WWE someday, but I'm enough fan of WWE to realize that I don't even know what Hulk Hogan would do if he was in WWE. When he was in the company last time, he was just sort of like a figure that was there. I mean, besides for him getting face-to-face with Brock Lesnar on his birthday, which was before SummerSlam against John Cena. You had basically Hogan and Brock having a face-off, which is as close as you can get to Hulk Hogan being physical. They always sort of attempted it when Hulk was in TNA. And I'll be honest, I really wanted to see Hogan versus Bully Ray. The way that Bully Ray played Hulk Hogan's daughter, I honestly thought that was a really good angle that really could have paid off for something good for the company if they would have been able to have that match. But not doing Hogan versus Bully Ray, I didn't think there was anything else that they could do. And Hogan has probably got how long ago was that? Probably 3 to 4 years, and he's even older, even more beat up, even more bruised. I think everybody who's seen Hulk Hogan promos, whether if it's his return promo when he messed up the stuff about the network, or just anything that he had to do. I mean, they want to make fun of Mick Foley for saying the wrong city on Monday Night Raw 2 weeks ago, to the point where he had to talk about it 3 times on Monday Night Raw, as well as going as far as to make a joke about having to write Tampa on his hand to make sure that he didn't mess up. I mean, it's been years for R-Truth, and he still can't live that down, where basically they think it's funny for R-Truth to come down to the ring, deliver a promo, and say the wrong city. I don't think R-Truth's an idiot. I don't think that Mick Foley's an idiot, but Hogan is somebody that goes out there and messes shit up because he just doesn't remember. He's not a dumb guy. He just doesn't remember. That's it. I mean, as easy as those promos were back in the day, they got me fired up as a kid. But now when I watch him on the network and he's giving a promo about going out there and having a match for, let's say Earthquake at SummerSlam, I almost get lost watching those as much as people make fun of the Ultimate Warrior promos from back in the day, not understanding what the hell he's talking about or where he's going, whether if it's, I think it was WrestleMania 5. And he's talking about how he's going to go out there and beat the Macho Man, and he hopes that the waters crush the Trump Towers or the Trump Arena that WrestleMania is in, and there are great white sharks swimming in there, and he's going to get Donald Trump, throw him up on his back, and he's going to swim out of there. What the fuck are you talking about? It makes no sense. Obviously, SmackDown has a really good GM in Daniel Bryan. It's well publicly noted that Daniel Bryan, he's good at the job, but he doesn't really want it. I mean, Mick Foley went way out of his way on that State of the WWE Union address. I don't know if he was trying to do Daniel Bryan a favor by trying to help get him fired, but he was saying that Daniel Bryan wishes he was wrestling, not being involved with wrestling. And I'm sure that it kills him that he has to go to work every Tuesday and do nothing but talk about wrestling and be part of wrestling segments. I think he wants to be in the ring actually wrestling. But I don't really know what Hogan's role would be as a GM. He doesn't really fit the storyline that's going on Monday Night Raw, where he has to be conflicted but trusting of Stephanie McMahon. And then I don't know what he would be doing if he was on SmackDown with Shane. I mean, Shane and Daniel Bryan try to play it off as being these cool owners. Hogan's not going to pull off being cool anything. So obviously I don't want WWE just throwing money away to sign Hulk Hogan, to say that they have Hulk Hogan. But obviously there has to be some sort of pluses. If you think about when WWE was selling tickets to make their return to Japan, it took announcing that Hulk Hogan was going to make an appearance. And Hulk Hogan is huge in Japan for those shows to show out. And they really gave the credit to Hulk for those shows selling out, just showing up and being there and delivering a promo. And I think when he was there, he helped do a press conference with Kenta when Kenta was signing to come to WWE and wrestle for NXT as Hideo Itami. And that really gave that a big mainstream buzz over there. So I don't know where Hogan fits. I don't really see him doing a whole bunch besides for just showing up at the Hall of Fame, showing up at WrestleMania. I don't know what he does to help Raw and or SmackDown. So I understand that they're not in a rush to bring this guy back because he doesn't really fit what's going on. But somewhere down the road, whether that means that they need him for a WWE Network special, they need him for a DVD, they need somebody to talk about WrestleMania. Without Hulk Hogan, it's very hard to talk about WrestleMania 1 through 8. You can get by with Bret Hart talking about WrestleMania 9, but if you want to talk about the upcoming 35-year anniversary of WrestleMania, how are you going to do that only talking about 9 through 34? You have to talk about the origin. You have to talk about where it came from. And you don't want to be showing footage that people have been watching for the last 20 years of old Hulk Hogan promos. I know that Hogan has wild, far-fetched fish stories about the stories that brought together Hulk Hogan, WWE, Vince McMahon, WrestleMania. But that's part of the fun of it, is watching them and laughing your ass off because you know the true story and you're just figuring out what the fuck is Hogan telling this story for. Is it the way that he really remembers it, or is this really the story that he's trying to get us to believe? So we'll see what happens with Hogan. I don't know if it's going to be this year's WrestleMania where he makes his return, or if it'll be before that to hype it up. But my guess is that we're going to see Hulkamania running wild in WWE yet real soon.